Hello and welcome to this demonstration of Lavu 4.0. Lavu 4.0 is the newest version of Lavu, and even though throughout this demonstration you'll notice similarities to the version you're used to, you will also notice that this version has an updated look and updated functionality to help you get through those sequences of service quicker and more efficiently. Let's get started. The screen that you're looking at now is the PinIn screen. It is also the clock in and out screen. If you look to the top right, you'll recognize the clock icon. If you tap on the clock icon, you as an employee can clock in or out. Once clocked in, simply enter the same PIN number to PIN in. Now for this demonstration, we're going to start on the table layout. We know that each business of Lavu's is different, so you may have the bar or tab screen, or you may go straight to the order quick serve screen. We'll get to those layouts in a second, but for now let's start on the table layout screen, which is used primarily for sit-down restaurants. If you're already familiar with this screen, you'll know that just with a swipe of a finger, you could toggle through any room in your restaurant that you've created. What you may not be familiar with is the new icons we've added. On the bottom left, you'll notice a green plus symbol. If I tap this plus symbol, it allows me to start a tab by either pre-authing a card, which means pre-authorizing it, or it allows me to start a quick serve tab as well. If you notice in the top right where it says quick serve, if I tap that, it'll take me straight to the order screen. This is usually used for call-in orders at the restaurant if you just need to place a quick order. The other icons I want to point your attention to are on the bottom right. The dollar bill icon opens the cash drawer if in fact a cash drawer is connected to this specific terminal. Now to open a cash drawer, you need a certain access level. The icon on the right of the dollar bill sign is the print symbol. Lavu has added in 4.0 the ability to print multiple checks or tabs all at once. This comes in really handy when you have a number of guests, over one, that want to check out. So if you tap the printer icon, it then asks you to select tables to print their checks. This also works on the tab screen, so you can select as many of open tabs or tables as you have as a server or bartender and print them all at once. I also want to point your attention to the bottom left where it says Tables. Now, that button is the new Lavu button. You're probably familiar with the Lavu button on your current version of Lavu in the top left corner. Well, we have consolidated all the functionality of that Lavu button into that bottom left button. So as it stands, that button shows you which layout you're on, whether you're on Tables, or you're on Tabs, or Quick Serve. The first thing you notice when you tap the Tables button is the cloud icon on the top left. That cloud icon tells you that your Lavu system is connected to the cloud and operating online. You'll notice also the buttons that say Quick Serve, Tables, and Tabs. These are all your different kinds of layouts, so if you need to toggle between layouts, this is where it's done. If your place of business has the delivery function enabled, you'll see the delivery function is able to be accessed right under Tabs. There's also the Orders button. The Orders button takes you to the order screen where you can look at all your open orders. You can search by card number or tab name or however you want to search for it. Same with Closed. You can also look at all your voided orders. You can also get to the time clock by tapping the time clock button, and this will allow you to clock out from a different screen than the PinIn screen. The bottom two are probably the most important. For example, if I tap Functions, that allows me to get to Register functions if I'm a cashier or manager, also Server functions if I'm a server, or if I'm a manager, I'll see the Manager function icon, And if I have the access levels, I can then get into the manager functions. If I go to settings, this is where I can reload settings or toggle printers and or displays. There is also a section called card reader where you can attach certain card readers depending on who your merchant processing service is. Let's go back to the table screen. So if we're at the table screen and tap table 18, you could set your system up to ask how many guests are at the table. We're going to tap 4, and now we're on the order screen. So you will notice right away that Lavu 4.0 has a different look and feel. On the old version, we had a bottom to top workflow for taking an order. On the new version, you'll notice that your groups are up at the top, such as breakfast, lunch, dinner, or whatever your specific restaurant has for groups. Underneath the groups are the categories. So you'll notice on this scrolling line that we have all of our categories under any given group. So if I go to lunch group, I'll notice that I have salads, specials, lunch combos, burgers, etc. Once you find the group and category, then the item selection is going to work the exact same as you're used to. For example, if I tap bacon cheeseburger, then it starts the modification process. Now in the old version of Lavu, we had pop-ups that would jump up and tell you or ask you what specific modifications does this customer want. So in Lavu 4.0, we have a more strategic workflow to help you get through the modification process quickly, but also allows you to change at any given moment if the guest changes their mind on the fly. So let's walk through the modifications for this burger. You'll notice that the burger mods is underlined. This means this is the first force modifier that you need to choose from. So we're going to add bacon and green chili to this burger, and then we're going to scroll to the sides. We're going to ask for chips, potato chips, and now you'll see at the top right the Add to Order button illuminates green. That means we've picked all of the choices that we need to for this item to be complete. However, as you know, sometimes guests have optional modifiers. So there's two ways to get there. If you look on the far left under the actual items, you'll see where it says optional modifiers and then add a note. So I could tap that optional modifiers and it will take me to the optional modifier screen, or I could tap the add a note and add a quick note to the kitchen. Now I can also, on the right side of the screen, tap where it says optional modifiers and do the same thing. So for example, on this burger, maybe they don't want a bun, but they'd like to add some avocado. Now let's say they change their side choice. There's two ways that I could do this. I could simply tap to the left of optional modifiers that's underlined and then change it to the correct items. And then it will redo the modifiers for me to make sure that I have the right items on there. You'll also notice next to where it says bacon cheese, it has a number. So every item allows you to duplicate that item on the fly. So if there's 4 people at the table, but 2 of them want the exact same thing, I can simply ring it in once and quickly tap the plus symbol to put 2 on the order, and then I'm done. Let's go ahead and add this to the order. So now you're going to see that the order is populated on the left. The send button on the bottom right is now illuminated and ready to send. So let's go ahead and send this. Now I don't have a printer attached for this demonstration, so it'll pop up with a fake ticket so that we can see how that'll look on the kitchen ticket. So you'll notice there's our order sent to the kitchen. And now we have a couple new functions that have opened up to us. For example, you'll notice right above the Add Customer button, there's Reorder. So now we can reorder any given item on that ticket easily. The split functionality stays the same. We just created a new icon to help newer servers understand what they need to do in order to split the check. If you tap where it says Table 18, it takes you to a couple more modifications to the order that you can make. For example, if you need to change the order type, You can simply tap on order type and change it to delivery, for example. Maybe 2 of the 4 guests didn't show up. I can tap 2, and then that reduces those guest counts down to 2. I can also create a tab from this table. So let's say they wanted to move to the bar and start a tab. I could put their name in there and create a tab. I could merge with another order, as you see on the bottom. I could void this order entirely with the right access levels, or I could close the order. Typically, most of these are going to be done by a manager or a person with a high enough access level. So really just the guest count change and the order type are going to be the only things that you're going to want to change as a server or bartender. So now that we've discussed all that, I wanted to point out that on the top right of the actual ticket, you'll see the $ again, which can open the cash drawer. You'll also see the print icon, which means you can print a receipt right from the screen. You don't have to go to the checkout layout editor anymore. But since we're probably ready to check out, let's go ahead and go to the checkout screen. Now the checkout screen is laid out the exact same that you're used to, it just looks a lot fresher. So if everything looks good, we're going to go ahead and tap on a payment method. If you have your system to ask if there's cash tips, this will pop up. If not, you're just going to go to the next screen, which will either be a printed receipt, emailed receipt, or in this case, I'm going to tap no receipt, and it'll take you right back to the screen you started on. Let's go ahead and go to the tab screen. You can see we have no open tabs, but you'll see My Tabs, All Tabs, and Lavu To Go orders. This is the way that we organize the tabs for you. If I have access to see all tabs as a manager, I could simply click all tabs and see all the tabs. If I wanted to start a quick tab, I tap the plus symbol in the lower left, and I can start a tab. And as you can see, it says the tab name on the top left, and I'm ready to enter that order. Now sometimes you're going to want to use the seat function in order to track who's having what. So you'll notice that we've changed the seat icon to be at the very bottom so that you can easily toggle which seat you're going to enter. For example, if I tap the seat number, it allows me to tap which seat I'm ordering for. If I tap the plus sign, it goes up, or if I tap the negative sign, it goes down. So again, we've made Lavu 4.0 easier to use, more intuitive, and essentially quicker and faster so that you can get what you need to do to take care of your guests the most efficient way possible. Now the last thing I'll show is at the very bottom right. If you're done with an order and you don't have an auto close functionality enabled in the back-end Lavu control panel, you could simply tap that button and it'll go right back to the PIN screen so the next server or bartender can then place their order. Thank you for watching this demonstration of Lavu 4.0.